What's up, everyone? It is your girl JL Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today we're gonna get into another palette recreations video. So what I did was I pulled palettes out of my collection that I found look similar to palettes I had recreated, and then I asked you all who you thought did the palette better. So we're on episode 2 of that now, because I was going through my collection, what is it, Sunday morning, my mom's birthday, after I had taken her to the movie Saturday night, because I knew I had to work Sunday. But yet I was up to like 7 in the morning pulling out palettes and coming up with video ideas for you all. But anyway, so without further ado, let's get into it, because y'all know I ramble a lot, and I still got to film the Pat McGrath eye quad video tonight too, and it's like 3:30 in the morning. So I'm trying to get home at 4 o'clock. I'm trying to leave here at 4 o'clock, so we need to like speed it up. And by we know I mean me, because I'm gonna be talking too long as usual. So the first one I got, just like last time, since Colourpop makes so many palettes, and this one is super old, so give me my props. This one's super old, and that's why I didn't think about it until after I already made it. Plus it was here in my grandmother's house, so I wasn't, you know, thinking about this palette. So I have the Sweet Nothings palette from Colourpop, and I remade another Colourpop purple palette called the Enchanted palette. So I redid this one. I took the pressed glittery-ish type shade they put in here out, and pressed down a multi-chrome that was in a different pan size to fit in this Colourpop pan. So here we go. This is what the Sweet Nothing looks like. Y'all know I love cool tone purples, and I just love purple in general, so this palette was perfect for me when it first came out. I loved it. I still love it. That's why I didn't get rid of it. I got rid of the one that was similar to what's the girl's name, I Love Side of East palette, the Through My Eyes palette. I got rid of that one because I think it was called Rendezvous or something like that. I got rid of that one, and I just kept this one. These are holiday palettes from Colourpop for a long time ago. Oddly enough, this is a holiday palette too, so if they like to do purples on holidays, really royal regal purples. And I know where your eyes gonna go as soon as I open this palette, because that's where mine would go to. But here's what both the palettes look like. So this is the one I recreated, and as you can see, I got this gorgeous purpley blue dual chroming shifting shade. Now I don't remember what indie brand it's from. I want to say it's from He Who Should Not Be Named, that had the whole issue with Tina the Fancy Face. So if you've seen my video, then you know who I'm talking about. But like, that's the shade that my eye immediately goes to when I look at this. I'm trying not to hold it too far though, because I'm not that experienced with pressing shadows, and I don't want it to fall out. But and the lights are not doing it justice at all. But you'll see it in the pictures when I post pictures on Instagram telling you that this video is coming. But these look pretty similar to me. I feel like this one is a little cooler than this one. I feel like this was a little more like warm, or like I guess neutral purples, if you will. But I feel like they were close enough to where we could compare and tell me which one you like better. But I like both of them, obviously, or else I wouldn't have bought both of them. So the next palette I have to compare to the Enchanted one that I created is the Violet palette from Vidyard. So this is what she looks like on the inside, and you all just saw what the other one looked like. Again, I feel like these purples are a little more cool tone than this one is, but I still wanted to compare them and see which one you like better. So there's this one against that one, and I got this one on clearance for like dirt cheap for one of you all for like a holiday giveaway or something, because I just love purple. But even if it had been regular price, I got it. I just love purple, and I hope you recreated some gorgeous purple looks with it as well. But this is what she looks like, and you can tell me which one you like down below better, girl. I love a good deal. I love spoiling y'all with makeup to thank you for, you know, watching me play with all my makeup. So that's how we ended up with that. So the next one I have is the Rose Quartz palette. So I made a couple of Colourpop palettes that were similar to this, and I think I did a couple of videos on that if I remember correctly. I'm trying to find the old school versus new school I did on it, because it's like I know I made it, but it's like I can't find it anywhere on my channel. And I'm like, I hope I didn't delete the footage, because like I don't want to have to refilm all that again, because y'all know it'd be taking me a while to get stuff done, and I'm just like, ooh honey. So I'm gonna start off with the Pretty Please palette. If y'all remember, I recreated my Pretty Please palette, and these are the tones that I preferred in it versus the ones that necessarily came in it. There was a couple of glitters and sequin shadows which I wasn't feeling, so I just replaced them. But this is what my Pretty Please palette looks like alongside the what is this called, the Rose Quartz palette. So here's what they look like. As you can see, I picked a nice royal purple to go in here. Excuse me, I think I took it out of the Lakers palette from Colourpop. You know, when they did the NBA collection, they went all for like $5 to $7 each one of them. So I made sure I bought like every single one that I wanted that had color stories interesting in it, and just moved them all around into the bigger palettes like this. So this is what she looks like. But I think it's a nice little soft alternative to this palette. Now, don't expect the quality to be the same. I'm telling you that right now, girl. The quality is not going to be the same by a long shot. But if you just want the same color story, it sounds good to me. So next I have the Troublemaker palette alongside Rose Quartz. And here's what both of them look like. Now this one doesn't look exactly the same. It looks somewhat similar, like it has that little pop of red, but I still feel like it has enough colors that are similar to this. If I color up the pop of red, you still got those cool tonish, grayish, purplish shades. You got a couple of silvers, and I feel like this palette has some of that. This one to me just seems like a little lighter version. So you can consider this one an honorable mention if you want, but you can tell me which one you prefer. When it comes to these two, I think I like this one a little bit more just because I like the red grunginess that goes with the other grayish type shades that go in here. And I feel like this one doesn't have too many dark shades in here that work that well, but Huda's formulas do oxidize, so they do work a little bit better than I expected them to. But you might see this one getting compared to another palette because I have another palette in mind I want to compare it to, but I'm not 100% you all will agree to it. That's why, again, I was just using it as an honorable mention because I couldn't remember which palette was most similar to it, and since I had to bring Troublemaker from home and Pretty Please was already here, I didn't want to need it here, and then it wasn't here, so I'll go with that. I'm saving the best one for last, y'all. I got one that I really feel like is really just exceptional. Next, I have the Golden Hour palette from Dose of Colors. They have a birthday sale every year that gives everything at the store 50% off. So that's when I bought this palette, because y'all know this isn't necessarily my color story, but I figured it'd be good to take on vacation. I know I love their mattes, and it was something I could rush quick to put on and go. I even have a variety of travel makeup. I know I am so ridiculous, but you know, I just love makeup. So next, I'm going to compare it to my brunette palette from Melt Cosmetics. If you all remember, I did recreate this palette. I took some of the, I think I took some of the shades out of the, what is that palette? I want to say I took shades out of the Mary Jane palette and out of the, what's the other palette? Crap, what is the name? I think it was the Gemini, and I took them out of Blueprint because they had some browns in there as well, and that's where all these shades came from, I'm pretty sure, but I feel like they look pretty similar. You get a few more shades in this palette, and I will say I think I like the brunette one a little bit more. I don't like the kind of warmth in this one. I feel like this has more of a yellow undertone, neutral type vibe to it, whereas this one just has that bright warm tone, like orangey red shade at the top. And y'all know I'm not a huge fan of orange, so I think that's why I like the Melt one a little bit better. But you can tell me which one you prefer and how you think I did trying to dupe this palette out, if you will. Now, all these dupes in my palette are, all these palettes that I ended up duping my collection were purely by accident. I just put colors in that I felt would look nice on my skin tone and tried to kind of cater it to me, if you will. Put this one down here because I gotta compare it to another quad in a minute. But yeah, so I have a couple of more Melt palettes because y'all know I recreate Melt palettes just like I recreate Colourpop palettes. I'm surprised I didn't recreate that new palette they just came out with now yet, but you know, give me some time, girl. I probably will if I get enough Melt palettes this year with color stories I like. Next, I have the new Mod palette from Sigma. They just had a 40% off sale that I was, you know, excited about. I didn't get anything though because I have the majority of stuff I want from them from the other times they had sales. But you know, if they come out with a new palette, I can be intrigued to buy it, or I can be coerced to buy it. This is what she looks like on the inside. Y'all know I like these mauve type tones for everyday like eye looks and stuff like that. So I'm here for it. It's a whole vibe. She's cute and all that good stuff there. So I'm here for it and I'm loving it. And I recreated a Melt palette that had like kind of a deeper, more grungier version of this palette in mine. It even has like little blue, purplish, sparkly shade right here. Yes, y'all, I was that detailed about it. And this one again was totally by accident. So here's what my sheets and parties looks like. So as you can see, I pressed in a new shade right here. I put this pink in here from I want to say Millennial Pinks. And I left the shade Skeleton Key because I thought that was the most unique shade in here. But I just felt like it was too many deep, grungy tones in here, and I left lighter shades. So this is like my light half of the palette, and this is like my smoky half of the palette. So that's the way I wanted to recreate mine. So that's what I did. So here's what both of them look like side by side. Sorry, let me find a better way to hold this. There we go. So here's what they look like side by side. As you can see, that's the blue purple shifty shade I was talking about that matches the blue purple shifty shade in here. And although it's a smaller condensed palette, I feel like it still does a good job of having lighter tones and deeper tones for me to make the same kind of eye looks I would do with this palette. I will say I wish I had more of a like skin tone color to dust over, but it's like I can take that brunette palette that I custom created for my skin tone to use with this one, and then I'll have both those shades like I want. So I feel like this isn't too bad, and I actually like the Melt one just a little bit more just because, you know, I customized it myself and I feel like I'm just a little biased. But y'all can tell me what you think down below. My head busted because my hair too frizzy, I guess, or like fluffy or whatever. I'm just trying to close it back real quick. Okay, we'll just close with that one for right now until the video's over. Then I'll redo it before I film the next video, which is, like I said, the Pat McGrath quad video. I'm gonna try to have that go up this week, but since it showed up on Saturday when I was taking my mom to the movies, I wasn't gonna rush back out here again for once to redo it, because that's what I would normally do to make sure it goes up. But I was like, I can't today. We're taking a break. We're not doing it. I had filmed so much this week till I was just giving myself grace, as I like to tell y'all. So next I have the In the Dark palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. So here is what she looks like on the inside. If you all remember, I didn't buy this when it first came out. It came out in, what do you call it? It came out in the holiday of 2022, and then she holiday of 2021, and then she re-released it in 2022, and that's when I went ahead and snagged mine. So she changed one of the shades in here, if I remember correctly. That's what Karen said. I think it was supposed to be like, it was one of the shimmers in here I think she changed, because I think they said the mattes were too similar or the shimmers were too similar, so she switched out a shade and then re-released it. So that's when I got mine. So this is what mine looks like. I don't know what the original looks like, because I bought the Smells Like Holiday Spirit palette instead, because that was my favorite of the two. But you all remember, I recreated my blueprint palette and made it a custom palette of my own. Now these palettes don't look exactly the same. My blueprint doesn't have any purples in it, but it does have a lot of those deeper grungier shades, because I stole all the deeper grungier shades basically from, what's that palette? I stole them from Millennial Pinks, and then I stole some from, what's that other palette called? Crap, I'm trying to think. I stole some from Millennial Pinks, and then I took, no, I think that's it. Yeah, all the shades out here came from Millennial Pinks. Or did the black come from, I think the black came from the Gemini palette. Anyway, this is what both of them look like. As you can see, this looks similar to this one in my personal opinion. It doesn't have that weird grayish mustardy looking type shade, and then it doesn't have the purples, but otherwise I feel like they look pretty similar. If I didn't have that bronzy shimmer in here, I might have put a purple in there, but I just left the bronzy shimmer in there because I was like, you can do a traditional smoky eye with the bronzy shimmer and the black, or you can just do a more fun blue version and put the silver in the inner corner. So that's why I decided to keep it in there. But I think both these palettes look nice. I actually think I like the Unearthly one just a little bit more though, because y'all know I love a purple moment. So just because it has the purple in it, I feel like it wins for me. But this is what both of them look like side by side. So on to the next one. So this is these, I'll save the best for last. You all know I don't really buy from this brand anymore. Matter of fact, I was talking about Give Me Glow, and I was talking about the I think the purple shades in the Enchanted palette and in the She's and Parties palette, the blue purple shifting shades. I had bought those I think before I stopped buying from the brand. And they have this palette. My friend let me borrow it for this video because I was talking to her over the weekend on Instagram, and she was like she was going to check out some of my content. I asked if I could borrow the palette again just for this video, because y'all know I love to be a visual person with visuals. So there's a couple more palettes from her I was going to borrow, but I ended up changing my mind about them. It's from the same brand, Give Me Glow. So this is the Bad Witch Club palette. People were talking about this for a while. I think Annette's makeup corner actually ended up decluttering because she's like she liked it for a little while, but then she stopped liking it. If you all remember, I was talking about how I don't buy from this brand and all the other stuff. So Natasha Denona Circle Local palette I recreated, I tried to recreate basically this look of this palette. That's why I recreated that palette to begin with. So let me show you what mine looks like if you're new here and you haven't seen it before. So this is what they look like side by side, and as you can see, my expensive bougie version from Natasha Denona looks somewhat similar to this one. So what I did with the Natasha Denona palette, I literally just took all the fun shades out the Circle Local palette and just stuck them in here. That's all that made this palette look like this. I took the shades from the Circle Local palette and stuck them in here to make it look more like this palette, since I didn't want to buy this palette. Now I have tried this palette because my friend obviously let me borrow it, and I told her I was going to try to do a look with it. And it turned out nice and it looks nice and it works fine. It's just I have my Natasha Denona bougie version of this palette. And I prefer my Natasha Denona bougie version of this palette because I know the form is going to be better and it's going to perform well. Now, I didn't have any issues with those shades people said they had issues with, like the blue and the purple and that palette that was supposed to be so horrible. But, you know, to each his own. But this was the grand finale one, and this was my favorite one out of the entire bunch. I had a couple other ones I liked as well, but I feel like this would be the one that you all be most excited about, so I wanted to put it at the end. So these are the two. You can tell me which one you like down below. I love the Natasha Denona one that I came up with. I am so excited that I came up with that and that I have it in my collection. And those are all the palettes I had to talk about. So you can tell me which one was your favorite down below that I recreated against another palette. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.